right, Boom. How are you? Let's look at you.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're looking at adorable but bizarre animals that you can keep as pets. Please make sure to extensively research any pets before you get them, since they're a massive commitment, and not everyone's taste in pets is the same.
I'm going to call him Tad Cooper, a name that evokes strength and valor and bravery. What do you think?
I think you're a complete idiot.
Number 20. Praying mantis. Beginning today's list, we have a weirdly adorable insect, the mantis. Their heads come in an iconic triangle shape with two huge eyes. These are compound eyes, which give them binocular vision and help them to detect quick movements.
Praying mantises are the only insects with stereo vision. This means that a mantis can look at the same spot with both eyes, which lets it determine distances more accurately.
They fascinatingly have 5 eyes in total, with 3 kind of hidden on their heads. A mantis is one of the simplest pets to look after. They're not cuddly like a cat, but they can be engrossing to watch. They're also masters of camouflage, so you can have hours of fun trying to locate your mantis.
Oh, great ones! I have been scouting for bugs with your exact talents!
A talent scout.
Number 19. Jumping spider. Arachnophobia is one of the most common irrational fears. Where most spiders are concerned, it's maybe easy to see why, but when it comes to a jumping spider, give them a chance and these guys will make your heart melt. They're some of nature's smartest spiders, and also the largest spider family.
This is unbelievable. This is the lobby. Welcome to Spider Society.
Approximately 13% of all spider species on Earth are jumping spiders. They've got 4 pairs of eyes, with their largest pair looking straight out of a cartoon. They don't need much space and are relatively hands-off for a pet. This makes them a great first choice for a budding spider enthusiast. Number 18. Ball pythons. Many people can find snakes spooky, but surprisingly, many people find them to be quite relaxed pets. Ball pythons are one of the easiest snakes to look after.
They're gonna be they're mostly docile, right? They're, on average, not very defensive, so an animal that if you don't like getting bit by snakes, this is a good one to start out with.
If you've ever met one, you'll already know they're pretty dumb. Their name comes from their defense mechanism. When scared, these guys will roll up into a tight ball. Despite their low intelligence, they have a pretty devious tendency to escape enclosures.
There he is! Oh, there you are! Oh, God, I'm so none of this was scripted, just in case anybody's doubting. Can you imagine being the hotel, room service, and finding him in here?
Like most snakes, they're remarkably low maintenance, only needing food every week or 2. They usually live between 20 and 30 years, but some can reach 50. Number 17. Red-eyed crocodile skinks. Now for our first skink, a kind of lizard. This species hails from the rainforests of New Guinea. They're approximately 8 to 10 inches long and have recently become popular exotic pets in the States. They almost look like tiny dragons, making them great fun to watch. These skinks are uncomfortable with being handled, so much that they'll even scream and play dead.
You've got to get it out, but just keep handling to a minimum. You'll notice I'm not messing with this guy much, I'm just letting him hang out there.
On average, they can live roughly 10 years, needing at least a 10-gallon enclosure, but the bigger the better. This makes them a perfect pet choice for hands-off owners, since they're more of a pet to watch than to hold.
So if you want a very interesting species that not a lot of people have, and you're not necessarily one that's going to want to cuddle it to death, then they can make excellent captives.
Number 16. Chinese water dragon. No prizes for guessing what area this lizard is native to.
While its name suggests that the water dragon is an aquatic animal, it's actually highly arboreal, spending most of its time in the trees.
These are a popular choice for reptile lovers due to their stunning skin patterns and friendly behavior. Their needs are quite specific, so only experienced reptile lovers should look after one. These guys are pretty high-energy reptiles, constantly climbing and swimming all over their enclosure.
They are not the calmest demeanor when it comes to reptiles. This isn't gonna be something like a bearded dragon where it's gonna be able to just laze around with you, chill out on the couch, be a couch potato, anything like that.
Please don't ever get less than 2. Since they're social animals, they'll get lonely. 2 isn't that much harder to look after than 1 anyway. Make sure you check their genders. 2 of the same sex may get aggressive. Be warned, they may experience some trauma from being farmed that may stay with them. So even if they look fine, one day your beautiful lizard may suddenly drop dead. Number 15. Pufferfish. Fish come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but few can change their shape and size as much as the pufferfish.
There I go. Little help over here.
I'll go deflate him.
Surprisingly, you can keep them as pets. They are poisonous in the wild, but it's believed this is due to their diet. But check with your pet supplier first. Their faces are so sweet, it makes them instantly lovable. David Attenborough even called one species, quote, the greatest artist of the animal kingdom. This is because of their elaborate mating rituals, where they create marvelous shapes in the sand.
All this striving for artistic perfection is a test of his fitness. Satisfied with the aesthetic details, the female enters the nest.
While they're excellent pets, be wary of their difficulty. They're high maintenance, so only buy one if you're an advanced fish carer. If not, maybe stick to goldfish. Number 14, Tegu. Some people call it the dog of the lizard world. This is because of their tremendous size, which means they may need an entire room just to themselves. Others argue they're more like a cat, since they can't be trained and tend to do whatever they want.
He's pretty affectionate, like he really enjoys human company and interaction.
They're expensive, need a lot of space, and can get aggressive as adults. So beginners should proceed with caution if they desire one of their own. But many find them intelligent and rewarding pets. Please do ample research because tegus have become an invasive species in Florida, all because of owners who give up on them and then release them into the wild. This has an extremely negative ecological impact, so please do not buy one on impulse.
We are concerned with them, of course, because they are eating our native wildlife.
Number 13, hognose snake. These little guys have some of the cutest noses in the snake kingdom, used for burrowing. They have stunning patterns, making them a popular pet snake option.
They are amazing snakes in my opinion because they're very calm. As you can see, they don't move very fast. They only get about 3 feet long for females and between 1.5 feet and 2 feet for males. They don't get very big.
They're reluctant to bite, but if frightened, the bite usually is only mildly toxic. Thankfully, proper training when young can make them comfortable being handled.
Eastern hognose snakes also tend to have more of an attitude. They're more likely to flare up their hood and hiss or strike than the westerns do. But that being said, that's really based on the individual.
Their average lifespan is approximately 10 years, but they're able to live twice that in captivity. They rarely get sick too, meaning they're an attractive option for a first pet snake. Number 12, fire skinks. If you thought the other skinks were cute, just wait till you see these colorful characters. They're native to African tropical forests, but can live a happy life in captivity that may last for up to 20 years. They're not the most beginner-friendly lizards, but they're still quite easy to care for.
You can see they're actually really sweet, and again, because they've been raised in captivity, they were born in captivity, they're really used to people, which makes them an excellent option for someone looking for a really fantastic pet lizard.
Like the previously mentioned skinks, they're not fond of being handled. Fire skinks have a reputation for shyness, spending most of their lives burrowing. So if you like the sound of a shy but beautiful lizard who prefers to be seen rather than held, maybe a fire skink can be your next pet.
They are kind of fast initially. It's maybe not the best for handling if you're a beginner. But again, with patience, they do become quite used to their keepers and they'll come up and eat right out of your hand.
Number 11, bearded dragon. Before you ask, no, they can't breathe fire and they don't have the qualities of a fantasy dragon. Their name comes from their magnificent ridged beards, which can flare out when threatened. This gives them a fearsome look and motivated early Australian settlers to call them dragons.
When they're anxious or sad, all their scales will swell, including their beard. Scales on a happy beardy have flattened out and are practically smooth to the touch.
Generally, they're low-maintenance pets. In the wild, they prefer living solo, so getting two is a recipe for disaster. If raised well, they can be handled with ease, putting them on the cuddly end of the reptile spectrum. Just don't sneak up on them or they will freak out.
It might be puffing its throat up because it just wants to show you that it's big and tough and not to mess with it. Over time, as your bearded dragon becomes calmer and adjusts to the situation and the new environment, it will do this less.
Number 10, Kenyan sand boas. These magnificent boas originally come from northern and eastern Africa. They're another smart choice for a beginner snake carer, especially if you want one happy with handling. Their eyes are adorably small, and their markings are magnificent. Females can grow up to 2 feet and males around 20 inches, so they're not big creatures.
It's a very serious size difference between the two of them, but males especially are going to stay kind of small, and they could potentially be a little bit fragile if they got squeezed or something by a child. Not really something to worry about a whole lot, but it is a possible concern.
They rarely bite, preferring to escape and flail when feeling threatened. While easy for beginners to care for, they can live impressively long, sometimes growing older than 20. So make sure you're completely dedicated, which should be the case for any pet.
The basic necessities of life are what these snakes are going to need, and they're very likely to thrive for you if you supply those things for them.
Number 9. Red-footed tortoise. It's easy to see why these are some of the most popular tortoises for a pet. They have brilliant red markings, making them beautiful to watch. As adults, they can be between 10 and 16 inches, weighing close to 30 pounds. As babies, they can make even the most callous individual's hearts melt.
He's got some power. He's biting me.
Like most tortoises, they can easily live for more than half a century, even a full century if properly cared for. Additionally, they need loads of space. This makes them the longest living pet choice, with parrots coming in close second. So you'll need more than one generation's worth of commitment to give these sweeties a long life.
Redfoot tortoises are an exceptional, gorgeous, intelligent, and personable animal worthy of every single bit of attention that the world has given them.
Number 8. African spurred tortoise. If the red-footed tortoise is too small for you, why not upgrade to an African spurred tortoise? They can be 18 to 30 inches long and weigh 80 to 150 pounds. This makes them the 3rd largest tortoises on Earth.
Right underneath the Galapagos and the Aldabra tortoises. Those guys are island tortoises. The sulcatas are a land species, so they're actually the largest land species of tortoise.
As you might expect, they need a humongous enclosure, usually outdoors. They're strong burrowers, so a deep fence is essential. Once again, they can live nearly a century. Overall, they're one of the more curious animals, which gets them into numerous sticky situations, like getting trapped in a small space. They're not too into being handled, preferring to cruise through life in solitude.
They like to roll balls around in the yard, so he'll knock that around, kind of play soccer with it. We have a hanging feeder toy over there. And I think for fun, he likes to chase his keepers around the yard.
Number 7. Sugar glider. This is surprisingly our first furry animal to make our list. These are tiny nocturnal possums, which, as the name suggests, can glide through the skies. They come from a part of Australia and are closely related to koalas and kangaroos.
They're just adorable. They have like the biggest eyes and they're so soft. They're just one of the cutest animals I think that could possibly exist.
If cared for well, they can live up to 15 years and become loyal companions. You must keep them in groups since they're super social creatures. Like all pets, do not buy them on an impulse since they need tons of care. They're nocturnal, so don't expect to play with them during the day. The legality of owning one varies drastically too, making thorough research essential.
It took a while to get used to them because they would just jump on you. And sometimes if you're not turned the right way, they'll jump into your hair and just like dangle there.
Number 6. Giant African bullfrog. These hefty amphibians are some of the largest frogs ever, and surprisingly are a great pet choice. They grow about 10 inches long, with their perpetually grumpy expressions giving them a quirky charm. They're lower maintenance pets, but can live up to 40 years old. It's best to keep handling to a minimum given how easily they can jump across the room. They're some of the animal kingdom's least fussy eaters, chowing down on almost anything that fits in their mouth.
Give them a bit of water to sit in, also maybe a little dry land to go and sit on every now and then, though most of the time, like 90 to 95% of the time, they're probably just going to be soaking in their little bathtub. It's actually pretty impressive.
Not much space is needed for them, and they're fairly sedentary, making them ideal if you want a chilled-out pet. Number 5. Hermit crab. Here we have our first and only crustacean to make the list. They're best known for their habit of house hunting, carrying their home shells on their backs to protect their soft abdomens. These guys are social creatures, so get them in groups.
They arrange themselves into an orderly queue. The biggest at the front, smallest at the back. They're lining up with one aim: to exchange properties.
Make sure to watch out for fighting, however. It's not uncommon for them to bully fellow crabs, and some will even steal shells. Their shells can also be customized, but don't try this if you're not completely confident. Not much space is needed for them, but they enjoy climbing and exploring, so a variety of toys is essential. Their beady eyes, wiggly antennae, and charming shells make them lovable exotic pets.
There is still one shell left. Sadly, it's no bigger than this small crab's original shell. And worse, it's got a hole in it.
Number 4. Red-eyed tree frogs. These sweethearts are one of the most recognizable frogs in the world. They have bright green bodies, orange toes, and vivid red eyes. In the wild, most of their lives are spent lounging on leaves deep in American rainforests. Thus, they thrive in tall and warm aquariums. In captivity, they can easily live a decade or more.
I mean, they're one of our favorites as far as observing them in your terrarium, but they're more for the advanced keeper in that they are extremely fragile.
They're completely nocturnal, causing many owners to claim they're not worth the effort, since they're a lot of work and are barely active. Still, their appearance makes them a delight to watch. One of their most fascinating behaviors is startle coloration, where they'll flash their bright bodies and eyes to confuse predators.
Which gives the frog just enough time to escape. So long, friends! Yes, so long, red-eyed tree frog. You certainly are one amazing animal.
Number 3. Hedgehog. This is easily the spikiest animal on our list. They can be found in the wild all over the globe, but only few species are domesticated. One of the most popular breeds for pets is the African pygmy hedgehog, which has clean white fur and adorable little snouts.
Does he ever warm up to a human? Is there a friendship to be had?
Typically, if you get them a little bit younger, they can absolutely warm up. Penelope is about 4 months old, so she's still able to get a little bit more friendly. You just have to spend a lot of time with them.
They don't require constant attention, but they're certainly open to handling with patience. Hedgehogs have poor eyesight and often use their noses and sense of smell to get by. They're so popular that hedgehog cafes have started popping up in Japan.
Before picking up your new friend, you'll need to sanitize your hands, and at first when you pick them up, they can be a bit squirmy, but once they get used to your scent, they're quite chill. So chill, in fact, that some may fall asleep.
Their most famous quirk is that when feeling threatened, they'll curl up into a tight ball and extend their protective quills. Keep in mind that a pet hedgehog will cover your home in quills, but it's a small price to pay. Number 2. Pac-Man frog. These guys are the ultimate weirdly cute amphibians. They have round, pudgy bodies with huge mouths and tiny limbs, giving them an almost cartoonish appearance. Like a lot of exotic animals, they're not fond of handling, mainly due to their delicate skin. One rare feature is their teeth, giving them a mighty bite.
They have big, nasty, sharp teeth on top and a bony projection at the front of their lower jaw. They can make you bleed for sure. And they often have difficulty releasing things that they bite.
Thankfully, they're relatively low effort, making them ideal pets for only observing. Pac-Man frogs are carnivores with an insatiable appetite. They feed on crickets, worms, and even mice. Only one gulp is needed to swallow most prey.
They sit there all day with nothing but their eyes sticking out. The last thing the prey sees is two bulging eyes, not really sure what it is. And the Pac-Man opens his incredibly large mouth and makes a meal out of anything that sits in front of him.
Their vibrant colors and quirks make them hard to resist. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Axolotls. Taking the top spot, it's the undeniable champion of weirdly cute pets. The axolotl, a kind of salamander. Their permanent smiles make them ultimate charmers. Axolotls are fully aquatic, originally coming from Mexican lakes. Unfortunately, those lakes were drained by colonial Spain, severely diminishing their natural habitat. Fascinatingly, they can regenerate limbs, gills, and even parts of their brains.
For hundreds of years, the axolotl has been central to our understanding of how our own organs develop and function. Its unique physiology holding the answers to many of our most pressing biological questions.
Handling isn't enjoyable for them, but they're still friendly, often greeting their owners at feeding time. Impressively, they can live to the age of 15, averaging between 6 to 12 inches in length. But in rare cases, they can reach a huge 18 inches.
Make sure they have enough space, enough territory. If you have a 20-gallon long for a single full-grown adult axolotl, I would provide at least a 40 breeder for 2 or more.
What animal makes your heart melt, yet others just don't see it? Let us know in the comments.
I like him. Come here, boy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.